Top 10 Django REST Framework Interview Questions for Freshers 2024. Covering essential concepts and practical skills for building RESTful APIs using Django REST Framework. What is Django REST Framework, and why is it used? Simplifies building RESTful APIs in Django with utilities for tasks like serialization, authentication, etc., used to create APIs for web and mobile apps. Explain the key components of Django REST Framework. Core components: serializers, views, URLs and routers, parsers and renderers, authentication and permissions. What are serializers in Django REST Framework, and how do they work? Convert complex data types to simple Python data types for rendering. Convert incoming data to Python data types for creating, updating models. Define fields, validation rules, transformations. What are views in Django REST Framework, and how do they work? Handle logic for HTTP requests. Interact with serializers for parsing data and returning responses. Can be class-based or function-based views. How do you define URL? Use router class for automatic URL generation or manually define URL patterns. URLs are mapped to corresponding views. What are parsers and renderers in Django REST Framework, and how do they work? Parsers handle incoming data parsing, JSON, XML, etc., into Python data types. Renderers handle rendering Python data types into various content types for responses. How do you implement authentication in Django REST Framework? Built-in authentication mechanisms like token, session, basic, configure in settings or at view level. Support for custom authentication classes. What are permissions in Django REST Framework, and how do you define them? Control access to views and actions. Built-in permissions like is authenticated, is admin user. Support for custom permission classes. Can be set at project, view, or object level. How do you handle serialization and deserialization of nested data in Django REST Framework? Use nested serializers to handle nested data structures with relationships. Define nested serializers within main serializer class. What are model view sets in Django REST Framework, and how do they work? Provide high-level abstraction for CRUD operations on models. Automatically generate views for listing, creating, retrieving, updating, deleting. Inherit from generic API view and include mixins.